Q's still holding their own here. Again, I'm out of it. I took a nickel loss on it, but it's still chugging along. It's notice that this is back to blue, but the oscillator itself is right here in no man's land down here between this green and the red. This is where you like to see it for longs. You like to see it down here for shorts. The color here changes is the oscillator moving up and down. If it's moving up in this no man's land area, it'll be blue. If it's moving down, it'll be yellow. So that's what we're looking for, this thing to move up toward the 80 level. But again, I'm out of it. I took a loss on it, nickel loss, but I mean, I took a loss on it, and I'm just watching right now. Here's your SPY. Looks very similar. IWM, very weak to the market here. IWM is wedged in a lot of support and resistance levels though. This is the IWM. You know, it's an interesting short setup. The problem is it's just below this support level. It's got the 8 and the 15 right here. This is a really tight range on it. It's kind of like Tesla is in this wedge here now between the 8 and this resistance level. It's just kind of jammed in there. Hard to trade those kind of setups because you just don't have the room either way.
CDGE image positive at Ragnarok Research.
Hey, Alfie. You in here?
NASDAQ hitting new highs of the day now. Watching the S&P as well hitting new highs.
Brutal. Want me to shut this thing off? You have to pee? You want to go and pee? Oh, you're a good boy. Look at you. You're a good boy. You want a cookie? You want a cookie? Want me to get you a cookie? All right, had to step away for a minute. Terry has scratched the cues on a time stop. Yeah, that makes sense too. Isaac, would I still get into the CRNC here if I hadn't entered the trade yet? Oh, it's pulling back toward the 100-day moving average right now on the daily chart. But what I would do is, no, I wouldn't. I'd wait for it to get above the VWAP. Wait for it to get above the VWAP before I get in for entering it along. CRNC didn't have the volume on the pop, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what I understand what you mean, Ali. On what pop? Which pop? We talked about the daily chart. We talked about a 5-minute chart. I'm not sure. On the D1 breakout, I had pretty good volume. The CRNC right here, the flagpole on the bull flag right here. This was pretty good volume. 164 million shares, and then this was a lot of volume here. But there was selling here. We went up and hit that resistance and pulled back. So the volume has been dropping off. So this is a very typical bull flag. This is your flagpole, and then we're coming back down, drifting on much lower volume. But we're holding the 8, we're holding the 100, and this is what you're looking for is a volume breakout at this point in time. And I'm in the trade, expecting that to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm expecting it to move up toward this 200-day moving average right here, and up to around $20, which doesn't look like a big deal on here, but it's a $6 move in the stock. So that's and this was good volume here. And this was good volume too when it broke up, but this is where the profit taking came roaring back in again. If you look, it has quite a bit of upside as well, because this is not anywhere near close to an all-time high on this thing. And I still have to make a decision about Las Vegas Sands, which is just down just a little bit today. Coin, which is bouncing all over the place. But I don't have to worry about coin today. I have to worry about Las Vegas Sands today's. Joe, with market internals flat to bearish, would it not be better to wait for internals to firm up? Yeah, probably would be for any trades. Yeah, it probably would be. Q's, everything is moving kind of sideways here right now. That's why I say to be careful with long trades right now. I took CRNC early on. I'm going to stick with it. But right now the market's not doing much. I mean, the T2104 is starting to recover a little bit, so we'll see what it looks like here in the next hour or so. And Q's actually would have ended up being profitable at this point, but again, I took a nickel loss on it. I don't like this is looking better, but the T2104 is starting to look better here as well. So it's definitely getting a little bit better looking. SPY is as well. And SPY is above its resistance level, by the way. So I actually may switch to the SPY because I've got a fairly close level on this thing at 606.41 to the downside, which would, and I get a lot of upside on it. So probably going to switch to the SPY for the SPY super system here now. When I take the trade, I haven't yet. Yeah, it's shiny.
Yeah.
It's very bright.
Yeah.
So SPY looking pretty decent here. Trying to break off the 15 right here. I like the SPY again. 606.41 is a support level on the daily chart. Obviously, that you'd be that's right down here, pretty close to the VWAP. But I think this is not a bad setup right now. T2104 is firming up a little bit on the last few candles, so it's a trade I took, and we'll just see what it goes. SPY super system trade right here on this SPY right here, coming off of the 15. Decent. That's a decent angle here on the oscillator. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm along the SPY right now with today's expiration calls. SPY's got some upside on the daily which basically is the all-time high. 609.07. So we'll see if we get through that today.
Can't get out the gate.
No,
Members want information
there's
for
too much sleet
the day now.
piled up in front of everything.
Yeah, I should be looking at me like that. How this is looking. Not too bad. Considering.
On TOPP, not much action as the IPO has opened.
Alright, you. Alright, you look scared. Cookies, and then we got cookies. Just a little bit.
SPY pulling back a little bit here. 607.70 is a high. Got a little bit of a resistance at 607.78, which is actually the the top of the candle from 12 to 18. So again, I'm not giving these things, I'm not giving this much room on this SPY.
On VALN, Valneva reports positive phase 2 results in children for its chikungunya vaccine. Get a little volume. On Coles, KSS comments out. My HINDSIGHT sees KSS filing for bankruptcy. This is comments out by HINDSIGHT.
All right, so I took my SPYs off. I took about a 2-cent loss on these. All right, so I'm out of the SPY trade again, and I'm out of the Qs for nickel loss. So I haven't had much success here today on this super system. Nickel, I lost a nickel and I lost 3 cents. So, of course, I'll be looking for just one trade. I'll take care of that. This is actually still pretty good setup, but it's a little bit too far extended for me to let it run all the way back down. So I'm out. I'll watch for a setup on these things. Same thing with the Qs. Qs look a little better here than the SPY, actually. T2104 is still fairly, it's chopping around here, but it's still tending to be a little bit bearish right now. So I'm just going to watch. All right, see if we have any questions here. It's about 10 minutes to 12. Questions here. Doug, were we? Yeah, was I chasing the SPY? I was chasing it a little bit, Doug. Yeah, I was. I was chasing it a little bit. That's the Qs there. Again, I chased it up when I was probably mistaken. But again, I wasn't it was no big deal to lose 3 cents on the thing, or but I was chasing for a move through the high, so I was not exactly taking it off the 15, which is what I should have done right here. That was the place I should have got in. I took it up here, and a little bit of time decay on the options hurt. So again, it's getting closer to time of day when I switch to tomorrow's expiration on any trades that I take on these SPY super system here. All right. Let's see, we got some folks on YouTube here this morning. Hey, Saw, how are you? Took profits too early on some tech stocks in hindsight. Hey, listen, taking profits too early, if you took them this morning on a gap up or when they were moving strongly up, I would never criticize that, and I certainly wouldn't say that was a mistake. I mean, it's easy to see after the fact that it kept on going. I had a whole bunch of Q positions overnight, and I took them off, and I left a lot of money on the table when I took them. But I mean, I was still up 80 to 110% on the trades, or 130% on the trade. So I'm happy with that. I'm not looking back and wishing that I had stayed in. It hurts your trading mentality if you do that. But you in your mind you're turning a winning trade into a losing trade. So I don't. Yeah, I always take profits on gap ups. I call them gifts. So I say that a gap is a gift. You take it because gap and goes are less normal, are less problem. There's no less probability of a gap and go than there is of a gap and chop or a gap and drop. So I take it. I always take it on the gap up. I agree with you. Gap and goes are rare. I always take profits on gaps if they gap in my direction. As soon as I see the Qs moving up in the morning, I'm putting a sell order in there. All right, so we've got a market that's gapped up this morning pretty nicely, moved up pretty nicely on the SPY. You can see there's a gap here. The SPY was within shooting distance of the all-time high. It has a chance to break through the all-time high. We'll see if it does. Again, the all-time high, 609.07. 609.07. SPY starting to move again. I can't touch anything here now. I got to wait for a pullback on the SPY or the Qs for that matter. I'm not going to chase them up here. IWM still showing some relative weakness to the market. CRNC pulled back pretty hard here. Now it's starting to bounce a little bit. Again, if you didn't take it, wait for it to get above the VWAP on 5 minute before you enter it for a swing long. You want to make sure that it's going to be bullish today. Root bouncing up today a little bit. Frank, how do I plan to manage my Las Vegas Sands trade? Yeah, it's a good question. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably have to take it. Generally, I would recommend just taking the loss on it. So that would be the prudent thing for me to do. What I'll probably do is take a loss on part of it and hold some of it over earnings to see if I can recapture any of that. But again, I'm adding to my risk when I do that. That's probably what I'm going to do. The time is running out before earnings for sure. It's tonight. It's tonight. So I'll make a decision on that. I think I'm probably going to sell part and hold part on the alert part of it. This thing I'm going to put a sell order in today and dump it. I'm not going to have the alert members hold it over earnings because it's not a good habit to get into. We'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't. I have to watch. Las Vegas Sands is down just 29 cents right now. So I needed to see it break below 44.01. It did not do that. There's a SPY with a nice little pop right there. so I'm gonna put a sell order in on Las Vegas Sands for $2. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sell off part of my position. I'm gonna hold some of it over earnings, but I don't recommend that anybody do that. I have to tell you, earnings is a crapshoot, and you could lose all the rest of the premium or whatever you've got left. So it's kind of a binary type situation. It could go down and I could make some money on the remaining puts that I've got, or it could go up and I could lose the rest of the money on the remaining puts. And that's another $2 a contract. That's quite a lot.
All-time highs above 6,100.
But let me go ahead and put that out on an alert. That's what I'm selling. Put as a sell order on that. Oh, I don't need to alert on that. I didn't have an alert on Las Vegas Sands, so never mind. All right, so I'm putting a sell order in for $2 on this thing. I have no alert on it, so it's just folks in the room that are doing this. And again, I'm holding part of it. I'm holding part of it. But as far as the records are concerned, it's going to be a sell at $2. All right, so we're gonna sell a sell order for $2 on here, and again, there's no alert on this, but this is what we're gonna take a loss on this. I am holding some of my contracts over earnings just to see what happens. What's happening with him? Are you taking him out?
Nada.
Huh?
Yeah. Nada.
Oh, did you take him out?
Yeah.
Did he pee?
No.
Boy, Alfie, how the hell can you do this? He didn't like the snow.
No, I did not. There was even a patch of, right under the eaves along the neighbor's yard.
Yeah. Wouldn't pee? What a dog. Alfie. You're not a winter dog, are you?
No.
Well, he's never seen it before.
Huh?
He's never seen it.
The back gate is frozen too.
Is it? Yeah, it'll melt. The stuff will melt.
Yeah.
Poor Alfie, look at him. The poor little guy.
Yeah.
Did he eat his cookies? I put some cookies on the top of a couch over there. Oh yeah, he ate his
Yeah.
cookies. See anybody out there?
No.
Nobody's out there. Alfie does not like the snow.
It's not his thing.
No.
It is, it's beautiful, but not. Sorry, buddy.
He'll pee somewhere in the house, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I closed all the doors.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Hey, buddy. You don't like that snow, do you? You don't like that snow. You don't like that snow. It's cold, isn't it, huh? It's cold. Don't like that snow.
Biogen BII, the article out by Endpoint says Biogen makes cuts across its research unit, shifting focus to external opportunities.
Okay, so the market's moving higher here now. Oops. Market's moving higher here now, continuing up. Again, I can't chase it up here. I have to wait. T2104 is starting to look better. Starting to get a bounce in T2104. So I feel better about longs here, but I'm not gonna touch anything on the SPY super system until I get a pullback. I'm gonna have to wait for a pullback. I might not get one, but I'm gonna wait and see. That the SPY level right there, 607.78 on the SPY is 607.78 is the high of the candle on December 18th. Which it went right to and go back a little bit, so waiting to see if I get a pullback. I'm not getting any in the Qs at all. Again, I'm out of Las Vegas Sands at $2. Again, I didn't take all my Las Vegas Sand contracts off. I'm gonna hold some, but not a lot. I'm just gonna hold some in case I get any kind of a major gap down to capture some profits on the puts that I have left. But basically, you should be getting out of the whole thing.
Gotta grind again.
Okay, grind away.
Thank you.
my microphone was flipping on and off here, so I think I got it straightened out now. All right, see if we have any questions. Again, a pretty interesting day. I took a loss on a Q super system trade and a SPY super system trade, a grand total of 8 cents. So I'm looking to make up for it later today. We'll see. I'm not really looking to make up for it. I'm just looking to find a trade, but I really need to wait for a pullback. I don't want to chase here right now. And I gotta watch this T2104 to see what it does. It was bearish here this morning. It's starting to get bullish again. But the candlesticks are really big on it, chopping all over the place. Yeah, a little after 12 o'clock here right now. Frank, what I did was I sold part of my Las Vegas Sands position. I sold a bunch of the puts, and I'm holding a few puts overnight. But I would recommend anybody who's in Las Vegas Sands long, just take the loss on it right now. That was what I recommended. That's what I did, except for I kept a few and pointed that out. But it's not a recommended trading strategy with options. Options are a binary trade. They can go either way. So you really don't have any edge. A little bit of a pullback in the Qs here. SPY as well, probably. Yep. Watch it, Microsoft here.
Go to town, little buddy. Keep going.
Q's right down to the 15 here, but we got yellow on the current time frame momentum. So, but it's still pretty high, but it is breaking down a little bit. So, I'm not going to do anything with it right now. SPY doing the same thing, right off the 15. Triple Q's off the 15 as well.
Sorry about this.
I like Microsoft here for a call debit spread on it for this week. 445, 450, 445, 450 on Microsoft. This is a daily chart on it right here. Again, we got it's a little extended. I'm hoping to get out today, 445 to 450. It's about $2 a contract right now for 445 to 450, expiring Friday. I'm not going to post it. Because it's moving too fast. I will post it on here. I'm not going to alert on it.
I'm sorry.
So you'd buy the January, again, this week's, January 24th, 445 calls. And sell the January 24th, 450 calls. For about $2. We'll see where it goes today. All right, that's no alert on this one. That's the Microsoft call debit spread. It's down about $1.91 right now. It pulled back just a bit. So you might get it for between $1.90 and $2. take some questions. Allie. Allie, I do not get frustrated anymore when I take a loss. Frustrated? No. I'm not happy about taking a loss, but I don't get frustrated about it. Take a loss, take a loss. It's part of trading. I mean, you know, my win rate's about 85 to 90%. That means I'm going to lose, you know, between 1 and 1.5 trades every 10. So yeah, of course I don't get frustrated now. My opinion on the Apple puts, Sergio. Well, it looks like it's bouncing to me. I mean, it's gapped down here this morning again. In this market, it gapped down. Here's close yesterday. Here's the open this morning. Very close to this 200-day moving average. Above this support level, I wouldn't be short Apple right now. If you were short Apple, I would be taken profits on it. Dimitri closed Alley at 9, bought at 6. Good job. Yeah, I just had to give it time this morning. Again, if it kept moving up this morning, you would have had to close it for a loss. But it was coming down. It was going in your direction. So that was a good trade. Nice job. 50% gain. Filled at $1.94, Terry, on the Microsoft. Okay. Which Microsoft options am I hunting, Dimitri? I posted them right here. July 20, January 24th, supposed to be. January 24th. There is no 21st. Just typed it wrong here. January 24th, 445 calls and selling the 450 calls. 445 by 450 for about $2. Q's flush down to the 15. Trying to bounce here now. SPY also trying to bounce. Again, I can't touch it right now. I got to wait till I get some momentum to start to move up in the direction. It's still pretty high. The momentum is pretty high, but it's just moving in the wrong direction. All right, it's coming up on 12:22. I'm gonna have lunch at about 12:30, so about another 8 minutes here. I'm gonna take a break for lunch. The YouTube folks, welcome, by the way, YouTube. Got a lot of folks on YouTube watching as well. Again, I'm gonna shut down the YouTube feed at 12:30 so I can get something to eat. So again, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate it. A little bit of a choppy day, gap up in the market, then fairly nice move up. Got a little bit choppy here in the middle, and right now we're just waiting. We had some really, really nice profits on the triple Qs we took long overnight. That really worked beautifully. So that kind of made the day. Other than that, I haven't really done much today. I had a small 3-cent loss on the triple Q SPY Super System, and I took another 5-cent loss. So I've had 8-cent losses, 8-cent loss altogether on my trades this morning on the SPY Super System. Not significant. The month is really good on the SPY Super System. Very, very good. Yep, Microsoft $1.88. Okay, Dan. Yeah, hopefully it works. Again, we don't have much time on this thing, and today's Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to close it today. Is my intent, if I can. You know, for somewhere in the neighborhood of getting it for 2, somewhere in the neighborhood of 225 and 250. That's my plan. If it moves up, I'm probably going to put a sell order in for 250 and see how it goes. I don't know if it'll get there or not. my only concern is this thing is a little extended from, well, quite a bit extended from the 8th, but it's in a void, which is, it's got a void to $450.77, so that's why I chose that spread. Microsoft has earnings, by the way, on 1/29, so that's next week. T2104 really is a mess right now. Flat this morning, pulled into a bearishness and a little bit of a bullishness. Now it's just chopping all over the place. It's just not a good pattern on the T2104. So I'm not. I don't feel too great about taking too many trades right now. And not pretty lackluster action here right now. Qs looked like it was going to pop, but it didn't. Again, the momentum indicator is yellow here, so I can't touch it. Microsoft also pulling back a little bit. Coin bouncing up here today. So just went slightly green. Again, I'm out of Las Vegas Sands for the most part. I did hold some contracts, but not a lot. The Y that Dimitri was in for time spread last night was patient and made profits on it as it gapped up this morning pretty high, and then it's just drifted down the rest of the day. Okay, I'm gonna get some lunch here. I'm getting hungry. Let me just check for any last minute questions. Nope. Hopefully everybody's getting ready to have some lunch, at least here on the East Coast. All right, I'll be back in just a little bit, everybody. I'm gonna grab something to eat. And again, thank you to the YouTube folks for tuning in today. I always appreciate that. We're here, try to be here every day from about 11:15, 11:30 on. Jonathan, you're welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube feed. Wasn't an awful lot of action. Most of our action came on the Qs overnight. That we had some positions on that were big winners for us. My wins on the Qs range from 80% up to about 170% over that overnight gap up. So that worked out pretty nicely. All right. So I'm going to grab some lunch. Thank you, YouTube. We'll go ahead and stop that feed and.